Can't. And then here's the best part, Robin. We've talked to Sosha, who just got interviewed today on Mike and the Mad Dog. I'm sorry, not Mike, the Mad Dog, on his show on Sirius Radio. They're interviewing Mike, and I want everybody to know we interviewed him a month ago. Okay, so we got him first. And they're talking, and he told us about analytics being wrong and how they're doing certain things in the game to slowly change it. Michael Kay yesterday goes, because Steinbrenner in his press conference said something about analytics, how he's on board, how Cashman's on board. And he goes, what has Cashman done with analytics? How many times has he won with that? It's not working. And I've always known it. It doesn't work in any sport. It stinks. Stinks. And Paul O'Neill said it during the game against the Red Sox. He goes, they're actually calling strikeouts good outs to make. He goes, that's an insult to me. If you told Paul O'Neill that, he would have hit you with a baseball bat when he was playing. He would have chased you around the clubhouse with it in his hand. It's a joke. You know what? And he goes, what have we won with the analytics? What has Cashman done with the analytics? Zero. We haven't won nothing. It's confusing everybody. And he goes, well, maybe we have to learn more about it. I go, no, maybe you got to get rid of it. Maybe it's bunk. For every 10 stats, keep 2 and chuck 8, because 2 are right, and the other 8 are only going to confuse you. Once you know what's right, close your mind. You don't need to keep it open, because you're only going to get confused. If you know what's right, I don't need your advice if I know what's right. I only need your advice when I'm not sure. It's that simple. But these guys, they do it anyway. This is how stupid the people are in the media, in the league, the players. They are adopting things that are way out there. People in outer space. It's ridiculous, Rob. It's just ridiculous.
Well, yeah, we've definitely beaten on the drum of the analytic problems.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
That the analytics were acknowledged as a problem by both Gary Adams and Mike Sosha on the show.
Right.
So yeah, you're not going to win a lot of support for these just excessive categories of statistics and analytics involving the game. It's just not necessary. And I think baseball would benefit from focusing on what's necessary for the growth and functioning of the game, as opposed to adding something for what basically could be just unsupported, unsubstantiated reason just to do it and just have someone do it. I don't know. I'm not sure who's deciding why. Okay, this particular statistic is necessary for this reason. I don't know.
They've let it creep in through the years. It's not just baseball either. It's every sport.
Oh, it's every. Yeah, they're all just Excel spreadsheet full of different numbers. I don't know. I probably don't know half of it, to be honest with you. So we're stuck with it. That's what we have to work with.
No, you see, Rob, they're not stuck with it. They've bought into these young kids that went to school studying math. Look, if you want to study math, go be a physicist. You don't belong in sports. You can always chuck it. There is 1 or 2 teams that don't go along with the analytics anymore in baseball. And I suspect that more will join because they're going to figure out it's crazy. I mean, they're going to let a guy bat in 143 in the All-Star game because technically, if you put all stats together, they're pretty good. Are you kidding? You can put anything together and make it look good. You can lie about it and make it look good. It needs to stop. It's crazy.
Yeah, is it good or is it just look? I don't know if it even looks that good.
No, it's a look. And as a matter of fact, it's a bad look. If you look at that, you look close enough, you're going to realize, what? You're going to sit there and go, that doesn't make sense. This is stupid. I mean, but they're doing it. I mean, that's what they're doing.
And for now, they're going to keep doing it. But I want to know, who are the teams in baseball, the surprises, teams that are playing really well that no one saw coming, and the ones who are bombing that everyone expected to sell?
The Boston Red Sox by far. Nobody thought, they got rid of Betts, who was great, but they did it for money. But the Red Sox were smart. They got really the best prospects out of somebody's system. They got that bumper crop. And Verdugo is a great player. And they got a couple others as well from the Dodgers. And it worked out for both teams. And they've had JD Martinez, who's amazing. He was amazing in Arizona. He's a power hitter. He's a great player, and he's playing really well this year. And they're even getting Chris Sell back, their pitcher, their veteran pitcher. So they're winning every night. And the Yankees haven't beaten him yet. I think Boston's 6-0 against them, I believe. So, I mean, but it's Boston. I don't believe Tampa Bay can because they can't hit good enough. And they got a coach that plays with their pitchers too much. Takes them out, way too soon. Just ask the Dodgers. They're still thanking him for it. That's why they won it. But no, I mean, it's definitely the Boston Red Sox. I mean, I could say the White Sox too, but they've been coming on for a while. They're really good too. They are good. In the National League, the Padres, everybody knew they were good. Oh, wait, and the Giants, they'd be the other one. Because everybody knew the Padres were going to be good because they spent a lot of money. They did the Steinbrenner, and it worked, But the Giants, I don't know if they're going to hold up. They have good veterans, though, that are playing well, and a lot of good young kids. But I think the Dodgers are just a little too much for them. I think the Dodgers will catch them. And from July 15th on, the Dodgers have the best and easiest schedule. So I think they're not that far behind the Giants now. I think they're going to get them. So, but the Giants and Boston by far have been playing the best. There's no doubt about it.
The Dodgers have been great the last 10 years.
They have. They've won the division 7 years in a row. So, quietly. And they should have won 2 World Series. If they'd kept Buehler in, Washington would have never won the one they won because the Dodgers were ready to eliminate them in the playoff game, the 1-game playoff. And the other year, the Dodgers should never have started the guy they did in Game 7. They should have started Kershaw. And if they'd done that, they would have won game. He ended up pitching 7 innings of Game 7 anyway and didn't give up no runs. It's just the starter gave up like 6 runs in 2.5 innings. That's what did it. And Dave made a mistake. I would have never started that guy. I know they signed him. He was a 10-year veteran. He used to play with Texas. He's with San Diego now. But I would have never started him over Kershaw if they started Kershaw. So they would have won 2 World Series already. The only one they really legitimately lost was the Red Sox one because Betts was on the Red Sox and he beat the pants off them. That was their year. They were destined. They went to Yankee Stadium that year in the playoff game and scored 16 runs on them. I was loving it that night. I can tell you that.
You always remember the memorable Yankee defeat.
Oh, it's a beautiful moment.
The time the Dodgers put 16 runs.
16 runs.
This and that.
Oh no, the Red Sox went to Yankee Stadium.
You must have been hurt when the Mets lost the Subway Series World Series.
You want me to tell you? Look, I know a lot of Met fans are going to beat me up for this, but in 1999 we were the best team, and we had John Olerud at first base, and I remember working the papers with my dad. We used to deliver papers late at night back then, and I would always listen to the fan overnight. And they got rid of Olerud, and they got Todd Zeal for him to play first base in the year 2000. And I was just, Susan Waldman came on and went, "It makes sense, Met fans." And I'm like, "You dumb dummy." I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Olerud was the mini Keith Hernandez. He was a Gold Glover. He batted 300 his whole career. He never made an out. He was so clutch. And Todd Zeal was not very good. And he went to UCLA, by the way, as Gary Adams told us. Remember, he asked me what he was doing? I said he's working for the Mets. And by the way, like he just, and we're in Game 1, he got thrown out trying to stretch a triple inside the park at the plate, and the Mets lost that game. They never recovered. They should have won that game. But you know what? The bottom line was he wasn't good enough. But in 1999, we were. And we were going to trade, one-on-one trade, Alex Rodriguez, I remember in July, for Ray Ordonez to Seattle. And, Alex didn't have all these big contracts yet. And Seattle wanted to trade him. And the Mets said, no, that was the dumbest thing in the world because that's all we needed because Ordonez couldn't hit. He was a great glove. But E-Rod could do both. He could field shortstop and he could hit. That would have been the guy we needed to put us over. We didn't get him. We still almost won. We would have beat the Yankees in 99 that year, I thought. But in 2000, we had no chance. So when that year came, we played the Giants, okay? And we ended up upsetting them. They were the number 1 seed. And Bonds was on that team cracking home runs like there was no tomorrow. We ended up beating them on a guy that his name was Jay Payton. He got the single up the middle, and we won the game like 3-2, the clinching game. We had no business beating the Giants. They were better than us. And deep down, as a Met fan, here's where the Met fans are going to kill me. I was rooting for the Giants because I didn't want the Yankees to beat us. I knew we had no chance. And before the series started, somebody came and go, "Are you a Met fan?" "Yes." "What do you think?" I go, "I think we're going to lose." "You're not a real Met fan." I go, "Yes, I am." And I go, "I think we're going to lose." And they go, "Why?" And I go, the Yankees are batting 290 as a team. The Mets are batting 227 as a team. We're not going to beat them. And we got the daylights kicked out of us. And then when Benny Agbayani went on TV and went, "We're going to beat them 4 straight," I knew right then. I go, well, it was a nice year, wasn't it? We're done. I knew right then. He was our outfielder. And ironically, a ball was hit to him, and he let the ball go right through his legs all the way to the fence, and everybody scored. No.
Yeah, that tends to do nothing but serve motivation for the other team.
Well, the Yankees didn't need any motivation anyway. They were the best team. And, I mean, I want to say Steinbrenner, and that's another thing. Steinbrenner got David Justice that year. And David would have beat the Yankees in 96 had he not have broken his arm. The Braves would have won. He was on the Braves. They should have won. The Braves outscored him in that series and still lost it in 6 games. People don't know that. And a lot of people don't. And but I'll tell you, once David got there, I'm like, no, the Mets, they're done. And even then, the writers were like, "Oh, that wasn't so good." It was the fact that Steinbrenner got the lefty too, because they got a lefty, and I forget who the guy was, what name he was. And I go, "It wasn't him. He's not that." Denny Nagel, I think it was, right? And I wrote, I go, "He ain't that good. They're going to win because of David Justice." And sure as heck, Nagel had a terrible second half of the year, and Justice led him to the championship. People are so, they don't know about hitting, how important it is. They always think it's pitching and D. It's not. It's about hitting. People don't get that. But, that being said, it hurt me in the Subway Series, but it's something I expected. I didn't think we were going to win. I didn't. You know what I said afterwards? I go, I want to play even playing field. I want to play them again when we're really, really good, because we weren't really, really good. The Giants were the best team in the National League that year, by far. But I want them in the World Series another year when we're good. And
so, Bob, referring to that era, the Subway Series, 99, Smart and Final just said in those days, the Yankees were the best team money could buy.
That's exactly right. And you know what? The Yankees don't think that, because Michael Kay and LaGreca were ripping on each other. And, Kay was crying, really. LaGreca was attacking. And he goes, if you go to Steinbrenner now and say, buy guys to get us out of this mess we're in, because they're not playing well, they're struggling. They're not very good. They've gotten rid of all their power hitters the last couple of years. And I told my brother that was coming, by the way. I said, you notice that they've gotten rid of Encarnacion and all these guys that were gamers against them and could hit home runs. I go, that's what the Mets did in the early 90s. They started getting rid of one player and another. At first, you never noticed it. And then finally, they got rid of Dykstra and then Keith, and that was it. I go, but the guys off the bench that were clutch, they're getting rid of them and replacing them with guys with good numbers. This is where analytics sucks, because you got guys with good numbers, but they weren't gamers. They weren't winners. They didn't know how to win. They came from San Diego, Kevin McReynolds, a history of losing. Why do we suck? And he brought that suckiness to the Mets. And you know what? This is what the Yankees did the last couple of years, because a couple of years ago, they were good enough to win it. They didn't because of, Altuve, and the Astros, but they were good. But now, the last I noticed, they're getting rid of this power hitter and that power hitter. I'm like, yeah, they're not going to be so good no more. And sure as heck, they're not. And they didn't even realize. So, look.
Until they realize what they need to do is follow the old man's strategy.
You can't be screwing with your team. You keep taking bricks out of the basement of the building is going to collapse. And they don't realize that. Even if you think the brick isn't that important, it is that important, you know? So what happened is I kept saying they weren't going to be very good, and now they're not. And what Kay was saying was, LaGreca goes, if you call Hal right now and tell him to spend money to get us out of this situation, then you're proving we've always been a team of money. Well, no kidding. And Kay, in his love of Yankees and blind spot that he has, went, well, no, because we've always built the farm system, because we made these good trades. Yeah, you made good trades, all right. You took people out of the farm system that were lousy, sold them like they were great, played them for a week. They played great on your team. As soon as they got somewhere else, they stunk. You took the best players away from the other team. And when you weren't doing that, tricking people, you were buying if it didn't work. You were always about tricking and buying. You were never about the farm system. You got lucky once. That's all it is. Farm systems are like those gophers that pop up in the ground. They come up and then they come in a different hole. Every team has a different farm system that's good in a certain year. Now it's actually the Dodgers. They're stacked. They're stacked. You know what I'm saying? But it's not the Yanks no more. So what they do is, the Yankees really believed in the core four so much, they believe that, and because now every team and every analyst in every sport believe that the farm is so important, or the draft picks in basketball, like Danny Ainge. Yeah, right. You have to get the best guys. It's not that important unless a superstar or a couple are coming out, or in baseball, in your farm system. Then it's different. But that doesn't happen more times than not. Most of the time, you get a garbage crop, and you got to trade with other teams and sell them off like they're great and trick other teams to getting their best players. Or you just do what Steinbrenner did and spend money. So the guy's right. The Yankees are this. They've always been about it. And they've always had the most money to run the farm systems better than everybody else too. That's true.
So how much more? It seemed like forever the Yankees always had the most money, and were spending the most money. Is that still the case? Are the Yankees still the wealthiest?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're in the top
franchise.
Yeah, they're in the top 5, I believe. I mean, the first two are,
but just for baseball, not in all sports.
No, worldwide. No, the first two are soccer teams. The first two are soccer, and the Knicks are in the top 5 as well. How about that?
So, but amongst Major League Baseball teams, the Yankees are the wealthiest.
Yeah, they're number 1 because of all the merchandise and stuff. It all comes in, and the Yes Network brings money into them now too. So, sure, that's their own network. Anybody doesn't know. Their own.
Because you would think that the Dodgers could match them, or you would think there's still some like franchises that could. Even the Red Sox now, they got to be loaded.
They got money, but it's nowhere near the Yanks. The bigger towns have money, they do. The Dodgers do, but the Dodgers won't spend. And I'm surprised they spent for Bauer, who's in big trouble right now. But as a rule, they weren't there, but they were going to sign Cole. They had Cole signed. He was ready. He was in the office ready with the pen and ready to. And then Cashman called him at that second. Said, "Don't sign. We'll give you more money in another year." And he just got up and left the Dodger organization. And he left the room, really, and said, "I'll be back." And he never came back. He called the Yankees. He flew him out there, and they signed with him. I bet you he regrets it now because the Dodgers won the World Series, and the Yankees aren't that good. I bet you. And you know what? I didn't understand why Cole did it. Cole is a California guy. He went to UCLA. He lives there. His family's there. I don't know why he changed up and went to the Yankees. No idea.
Well, there's probably some monetary
reason we don't
for
know
that decision.
Yeah, there's a reason we don't.
The Yankees must have really topped offer.
The Dodgers opened up their book though, their bank book. I really don't know why because they've all got money now. He's a star. He's been a star for 10 years. So I don't know why. Now I don't know why he did it. There must be a reason we don't know. But he should have signed there. And I bet he's kicking himself a little bit. He'll never say it, but I bet you he is.